Hey guys, so this is going to be the lab on water temperature and heating. So I've got the hot plate. It's been going here for a while so that it's come up to temperature. I've got my ice water in here. I've got just enough ice to cover, or water to cover the ice. And my temperature reading right now is 0 degrees Celsius. So if you are, or actually what I want you to do is keep track of the temperatures that I give you on a Google sheet. So we're basically going to do every 30 seconds. I will give you a temperature, and then you're going to keep track of that on your Google sheet. So you'll have a column with time going in 30-second increments, and then temperature going in degrees Celsius. Again, don't put your units on the graph because that's going to take away when you start to do the data calculations and whatnot. So for right now, every 30 seconds I will give you a temperature. You're putting those into your data table. So here we go. We are starting now. I am going to make sure that this thermometer stays off the bottom, and I'm going to try to consistently stir it. So this is going to take a while, by the way. First reading is coming up, and it is 0 degrees. Second reading is coming up, and it is 0 degrees. Next reading is coming up, and it is 0 degrees. This is usually the part of the experiment when people start getting frustrated. They think their thermometer's broken. Some people think that their water's broken. Some people don't think that their hot plate is on. I assure you it is on. I can feel the heat coming up off of it, but the temperature is still 0. Next reading, 0 degrees. Now people get really mad. Now what you want to observe at this point is that there is still ice in the beaker. So we have water and ice in the beaker. The ice is melting. We're getting closer to there being no more ice, but there is still ice. And next reading is 0 degrees. Ice is dwindling now, it's getting fewer and fewer. And there is no more ice left. It might just be a sliver or two. Next reading, we are at 4 degrees. Now there's no more ice left. I do not see any in there. See if we got the snowball rolling here. Next reading is 9 degrees. Readings coming up. This is 4 minutes, by the way, on this reading. So 4 minutes, we are at 14 degrees. Now again, we're going to take this all the way to the boiling point, and then we're going to go a few past that, so might take us a while. The boiling point, remember, of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Next reading, this is 4.5 minutes. We are at 20 degrees. Coming up on 5 minutes. And we are at 25 degrees. Coming up on 5.5 minutes. And we are at 30 degrees. Coming up on 6 minutes. And we are 35 degrees. This is where if you were here and had lab partners, you'd be switching. Coming up on 6.5 minutes. And we are, if you're guessing, 40 degrees. So notice we're going pretty consistent here, about 5 degrees every time. So if we were good guessers, we'd be thinking the next one's going to be 45 degrees, right? Coming up on 7 minutes. And we are 45 degrees. Coming up on 7.5, and we are 50 degrees. Remember, the boiling point of water is 100, so we are about halfway there. Coming up on 8 minutes. And at 8 minutes, we are 55 degrees. Coming up on 8.5 minutes, 60 degrees. Coming up on on 9 minutes. And we are 64 degrees. Next reading will be 9.5, 9:30, and it is 69 degrees. Coming up on 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, we are at 74 degrees. Just so you kind of see what's going on now too, we're starting to get bubbles forming on the bottom. In 10.5 minutes, we are at 76 degrees. Coming up on 11 minutes, 81 degrees. Notice bubbles are starting to form on the bottom. And the temperature rise is starting to level off a little bit. Up on 11:30 or 11.5, we are 85 degrees. Start to hear the water wanting to boil. You can see more bubbles starting to accumulate on the bottom. Coming up on our 12-minute reading. We are 88 degrees. Coming up on 12:30 or 12.5. We are 92 degrees. Coming up on 13. We are 95 degrees. Now I'm starting to get boiling, but I'm not rapidly boiling yet, so I'm going to continue going. I don't know if you can see in the pictures, but there are certainly bubbles. And now it's getting pretty close to rapid, and we are at 13.5. And we are at 98 degrees. Pardon me. Now we are pretty much rapid boiling. coming up on 14 minutes. And we are 100 degrees. This is the first time, by the way, that my thermometer has been right on 100. Usually it's off by a little bit, because these have usually a 1 to 2 degree error in them, plus or minus. So sometimes it'll boil a little bit over 100, sometimes it'll be a little bit under 100. Right now we are at 101, so there it is above 100. That was 14 and a half, 101. Definitely at a rapid boil now. And at 15,